Notice, if you will, that when God responded to Daniel's prayer, God demonstrated his great favor. He demonstrated his love as a God whose favors are not all past, because his compassions fail not. When God responded to Daniel's prayer, God demonstrated that he is a God that is true to his promise. So again, I say that God fulfills his word of promise, amen, both in relation to the fullness of his redemptive purpose and also in response to our most sincere and earnest prayer. Now, Jeremiah prophesied that at the end of 70 years of captivity, he prophesied that a new fullness of time would occur. God would then move within the people, and they would seek him in prayer, and they would seek him with all of their hearts. It was prophesied that God would listen, and that God would answer from heaven and fulfill his promises of restoration. Know this one thing, that God desires to do mighty, and he desires to do wonderful things in the lives of his people, so much so that he moves us to earnestly seek him in prayer, that we may discover the riches of his grace and the hope of his calling. David said in Psalms 86, he said, "Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I call unto you daily." He said, "For thou, Lord, art good and ready to forgive, and you are plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee." Well, the timing of God's answer to our prayer, it is linked. The timing of his prayer, it is linked to his purpose. It is linked to his purposes for our life. It is the will of God. According to Jeremiah 29 and 10, to perform a good work in you. You see, man may fail to see, and man may fail to understand the purpose of your existence, but God desires to perform a good work in you. The enemy may have even told you that your opportunity has passed, but God desires to perform a good work in you. The odds to succeed may not be in your favor, but God desires to perform a good work in you. You may have fallen on hard economic times, but God desires to perform a good work in you. The challenges of life may have left you feeling as if there is no hope, but God desires to perform a good work in you. Family and friends may have forsaken you, but God desires to perform a good work in you. You may have lost everything that you have worked hard for years to establish and build, but God desires to perform a good work in you. You may have even had to make some unpopular decisions that cost you some so-called friends, but God desires to perform a good work in you. Affliction may even be in your body, but God desires to perform a good work in you, because many of the afflictions of the righteous, but God and you may even fail to see your own self-worth and your own potential, but God desires to perform a good work in you. Tell 3 people, God desires to perform a good work in you. Scripture says, Scripture says, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord. You see, known unto God, catch it, known unto God are all of his thoughts and all of his works. And God's works agree exactly with his thoughts. So whatever God does, it lines up with what he is. You see, God is not guilty of thinking one thing and doing something else. God is not fickle. God is not bipolar. God is not unstable in his thoughts. You see, we often do not know our own thoughts from one moment to the next, but God is never at a loss with his thoughts. God knows exactly what he's doing. We may not understand it, but God knows exactly what he's doing. He reminds us, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, and my way is not your way. So if he said it, stand on it. If he said it, expect it. If he said it, look for it. Say yeah.